Hey folks, Pat here from DNS, and this Madison area fishing report is current as of Friday, January 17th. Well, we've been super busy here at the shop, so hopefully I can sneak this report in here. Before I do want to stress that this report is for current conditions as of today's date. Many factors can cause ice conditions to vary, so please be careful no matter where you fish. For up-to-date ice conditions, please feel free to call the shop at 608-241-4225, and we'll tell you what we're hearing around town. Or if you run into some sketchy ice yourself, please call the shop and let us know, or post in the comments below. A few announcements to go over here quick. Wanted to congratulate Kevin Fastbind and Nick Smyers on their win in the first Kicker Cup event of the season here. That was on Monona Bay last Sunday. They pulled in 7-pound bag of fish for a 10-fish bag. That's some good fish in there. You can see some nice crappies, some good bluegills. So congrats to them. The next Kicker Cup event is next Sunday on Fox Lake. And if you're, want to test yourself against some of the best anglers in the area, they get guys come in from all over the Midwest to fish this thing. So get out there and test your skills if you like. I wanted to let everybody know that this weekend is the DNR's free fishing weekend. So if you've got a friend that always using the excuse that they don't have a fishing license, you can take them out this weekend. But yeah, it's a great thing. They do those in the winter and the spring. So it's always a good time, good opportunity to get out if you don't want to buy a license. I'm kind of a bird guy. I've mentioned that before. Bald eagle watching days up at Sauk City, Prairie du Sac. They got all kinds of events here on the Ferry Bluff Eagle Council website, but you can just Google that Eagle Watching Days and it'll pop right up there. But it's a cool event. You can check out a whole bunch of eagles, and they usually release like a rehabbed eagle. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Kids Ice Fishing Day, Yahara Fishing Club, awesome group. Kids Fishing Day, awesome event. We're happy to support that by donating bait. So you got bait on hand, you got a bunch of holes drilled, experts from the club to show you what's up, and hot dogs. Sodas, and the kids walk away with a free ice rod. So it's a great event. Get down there if you've got a kid you think would love to, or at least check out ice fishing. They usually have the kids on fish, and yeah, most people catch fish. So another great group, Wisconsin Fishing Team, as their Badger Battle on the Bay coming up February 8th. This is a fundraiser for this group and a cool event. So yeah, happy to donate some prizes there and support those guys where we can. I just wanted to talk about this because it's dumb. But Racine Harbor incident, gun drawn out there in Racine. So yeah, let's just remind each other that we can all just chill out. There's plenty of fish for everybody. I don't know. It's an interesting story if you want to watch it and look it up. But just chill out, folks. Come on. This is ridiculous. So, and I guess I was mentioning the Yahara Fishing Club before. Got my pictures all screwed up here. We are selling Yahara Fishing Club raffle tickets here at the shop. So these will be drawn at the Fishing Expo in the spring here. But yeah, come down and get some tickets. Benefits the club, and you got a chance to win some great prizes. So we're happy to support that. Ice is very slick out there right now, so make sure you get safety stuff. I'm going to keep preaching this. I don't. These are actually the last 3 creepers I have in stock, but I'm getting a big order in today, so hope to be restocked there. But speaking of safety stuff, get yourself some ice picks. A spud bar is a great idea. These J ropes are cool, or just take a length of rope. But these are cool. They act as like a harness for pulling your sled. Super handy that way. And if there's an emergency, they unfurl into 30 feet of rope. And if you deer hunt, you can use them to drag a deer out. I wish I could report on how well they work for that, but I have yet to shoot a deer with my J rope in hand. So maybe someday. Vulture systems, I posted this yesterday. These are the best of the best as far as tip-up alert systems go. They have over a mile range, and you can program them, to go to this sensor that you hang on a lanyard around your neck, or you can also enable your smartphone to get alerts there. They also have this new product, the Revo, which is a tip-up alert thing that also can measure how fast your line's spinning out on your thing. So if you got a pike that's spooling you out, to get over there quicker. But anyway, really happy to be carrying this. I get a lot of requests for these. They're very popular. And if you're serious about tip-up fishing, you're definitely going to want to look into this. If you ice camp, or sleep in a shack, or even live on the lake, you can have this on you and kind of go about your business, and let the Vulture let you know when you're getting bites. Also wanted to let folks know we got some bitter cold temps coming up. It's a great time to be inside tying flies. We're fully stocked here on our tying department, and you don't have to be tying fancy little dry flies for trout. You can be tying ice jigs. You can be tying hair jigs for walleye coming up. But yeah, we got our tying department is stocked, and yeah, come check it out. Posters on the door out front. We got the Marshall Lions Fishery this weekend coming up, so check that out. And Marshall got a bunch of cool stuff, events and prizes and stuff like that. Ladies Ice Fishing Day down at Dooner's Bar down there and Grill on Koshkonong. It's a great ladies only event. Going to be pretty miserable cold, it sounds like, on Sunday, so maybe go check out the Great Milwaukee Classic Antique and Collectible Fishing Tackle Show. The woman that dropped this off says that this is the best one in the Midwest, and or maybe you got some tackle you just want to maybe get some appraisals on, and you maybe just get an idea what some of Grandpa's lures might be worth. Check it out. Drinking with Scissors, January 22nd. That is coming up next week. So I will be there. It's a great event. Super casual. You don't even have to tie flies. You can just watch people tie flies. A lot of talented folks show up to that. And it's just a great social event to get together in the winter months here. Stoughton Conservation Club has their fishery. That's the one where you can win $10,000 with a tagged fish, January 25th. So that's coming up next weekend. And, of course, the Kids Fishing Day that same day. So maybe go to the Kids Fishing Day and then check out the Stoughton Fishery thing. And maybe hit up the Kicker Club Cup the next day. Who knows? Oh, yeah, more ice spikes. These will be like the ones I'm getting in here. And, yeah, the fly stuff we will talk about in just a sec. I'm going to pause it here quick. All right, so let's get into the report, I guess. Weather-wise, the cold day we're predicting last week came through, and we made some good ice across the chain. It's going to be warm today, but windy. And tonight looks like the temps start to fall. And then through tomorrow's going to get colder as the day goes on. Sunday looks like bitter cold and then barely cracking zero for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll be making some ice. And then by next weekend, it looks like it's going to warm up again. Not super warm, but warm up anyways. And yeah, we'll have some good ice. So hopefully we'll be cruising around the lakes. And as far as ice conditions go, I just want to be clear that I'm certainly not the end-all be-all as to what's going on around the chain. And what I report is only what I've been hearing over the last couple of days. Do use caution wherever you go. Make sure you have safety equipment and be safe out there. That being said, all of our area lakes are completely capped over, and folks have been running ATVs pretty much everywhere, although there are some areas to be careful around on Mendota and Monona. In fact, ATV went through just yesterday afternoon over here on Picnic Point, kind of on the U Bay side. So, you just never know. They've had ice over there for a couple of weeks, and so it's kind of surprising to have a ATV go through there. I also heard it was an Argo, which they had the ice boat out and had to rescue the person, but Argos are supposed to totally float. So I don't know. Anyway, if you know anything about it, comment below. But yeah, otherwise, elsewhere on the chain, we'll just kind of go down the list here. Up on Cherokee, plenty of ice up there, 10, 12 inches. Do be careful if you're way out here by the channel. Nobody really fishes out there anyway. So the area where everybody fishes in Cherokee is good. North Bay's pretty good. Do use caution, if you're fishing up here where there's some current, but sounds like 8 to 10 inches out there from what I've heard, and folks have been running ATVs. There is apparently an expansion crack that heads from Governor's over towards the state park. I have not witnessed it myself, but apparently it was about a foot wide yesterday. They can certainly widen with windy conditions like we got today and changing temps, so do be careful that way. Otherwise, I also heard about an expansion crack, or a heave, I'm sorry, from Fox Bluff over here, like kind of heading south. I heard it was a nasty one. One guy said he thought it was like 4 or 5 feet tall already. I don't know anything about that. Other people have said they haven't seen anything out there. So who knows? Just be careful if you're out there. Marshall Park has been good for a while. The ice should be good there. Do use caution if you're exiting out the little narrows there. But I know folks have been cruising around the West Basin out there. But again, Shaq went through off Picnic Point. I had a guy online post that he had like 2 inches off Second Point over here, just kind of after being on 6, 7 inches, he was saying, and then all of a sudden it was 2. So I heard there's also a heave headed off Picnic Point. I'm not sure exactly the direction. And when I made my post, but oh yeah, and there's a expansion crack over here off Mendota County Park that Dave Lundy sent a video over. So thanks to Dave for that. I'm not sure. I wouldn't try crossing that. It would look like it was 10 feet wide in spots. Otherwise, off Brearley over here, Brian Zucke posted a pic about he found an area that was like 2 inches, and he was cruising through in the dark, and thank God he stopped, because he'd have probably gone through, but he found 7 to 8 inches pretty much everywhere else on Mendota. So just be careful out there. Folks are running ATVs, but do use caution. And we're back here. So yeah, pretty much the same thing down on Lake Monona. The main lake is froze over. There's folks running ATVs all over the place. Do be careful of areas like the Yahara River where it dumps in here, MG&E discharge downtown, They got that fenced off, but still, be careful there. And then over here by Wild Haven, sometimes that's can be some sketchy ice off there. But otherwise, Winger is good, Monona Bay is good, Upper Mud's good, Wabisa. Everything else is in great shape, and folks are running ATVs all over there. So as far as fishing goes, generally around the chain, we definitely have a lot more ice, so folks are getting out there. But on the bigger lakes up here, folks are generally staying closer to shore, so within a couple hundred yards, and they're definitely getting fish. If you're fishing up shallow and you can find weeds, you'll likely find bluegill, maybe a crappie mixed in with the usual spikes, waxies, and plastics, working well for those fish. Perch have been almost non-existent on Monona and Mendota. I know Brian, when he was out on Mendota, wasn't finding much out there, but if you can find them, like down on Wabisa and Kiganza, they are finding some perch down there. They're generally in a good mood. We'll hit on that a little bit later. But folks running tip-ups shallow and stuff around the chain for bass, using shiners. Get a lot of bass and mostly smaller pike, but I've heard about some nice fish showing up. Walleye have been showing up in many of the shallow areas too, mostly ones that are closer to like a shoreline break or something, usually at low light hours, medium shiners, small suckers, and blacktail chubs working well for those fish. As far as a little more detail on some of these spots, Cherokee has been spotty up here. Tip-up action's been great. If you're looking to keep like a group of kids busy, or you want just some straight-up action yourself, it's great up there. A lot of small pike though, 18 to 24 inches, but a lot of good action. And just a reminder that the limit up here is what the size limit is across on Lake Mendota. So 40-inch pike have to be there. You can keep one of those a day. Walleye are 18, and you can keep 3. And bluegill limit, panfish limit up there is 10 fish. And we're back here. So yeah, Cherokee has been good. A lot of largemouth bass up there too. Medium shiners have been working well for those fish. Out in North Bay, I've been hearing about mostly small walleye and pike. Some folks getting out there, but as far as the rest of Mendota goes, like I said, Brian was out looking for perch. Didn't have much luck. Haven't heard from many people out looking for perch otherwise, so no word on that. Otherwise, shallow water bluegills. If you can find weeds, you'll probably find some gills, some crappies mixed in there. Walleye action's been great, like I said, in pretty much any spot around the lake that's close to a shoreline break. I know they've been getting some over in University Bay, City Shoreline, Maple Bluff, in Warner, off Govs. So pretty much everywhere around the lake. I haven't heard anything off like Mendota County Park or off the west end, but I'm sure they're getting walleyes down. Actually, no, I did hear about some walleyes down here on the west end. So yeah, a lot of walleyes out there, and great time to get out and catch them through the ice. So what else? Pike, a lot of pike out there, pretty much everywhere. Same thing, large shiners, the jumbo shiners that we sell here at the shop have been really good for those. I've heard about a couple 40s, maybe I think I heard one down here in Warner, for like a 41 or something I heard off the west end over here. So yeah, they're out there, and folks are getting after it. Same thing down here on Lake Monona. I don't have much reports as far as people chasing perch. Actually, none. I haven't heard of anybody chasing perch, but folks are getting walleyes in shallow areas, near shoreline breaks. So the rock pile down here, Squaw Bay or Weechawak Bay. Haven't heard much, I guess, off Old Brick specifically, but the whole city shoreline here has been good down near the Monona Bay and the Trestles. They're even getting some occasional walleyes in the triangles and stuff like that. So some good walleye action out there. Bluegill action down in Monona Bay, which I feel like it's the best bluegill fishing in the state. So it's absolutely full of bluegills. There's some crappies in there, as you saw. The Kicker Cup guys were getting some. Great spot, great for action, and great access. It's a great spot. Lake Wingra, a lot of small panfish in there. I've heard about a little bit of tip-up action. Actually, I heard about some occasional decent perch, but you got to sort through a lot of tiny bluegills to get them. Haven't heard much out of Turville. Weechawak, like I said, I've heard about mostly small walleyes and some small pike with some occasional decent bluegill action in there. Upper Mud, same thing as it's been. Tip-up action sounds like it's been good. Bluegill and like jigging for panfish action's been a little slow, or spotty, I guess we'll call it. Down on Wabisa, they have great ice out there. Folks running ATVs all over. I mentioned some perch earlier. They have been getting some perch. They are hard to find. talked to a guy who looked for 2 hours, but when he finally found them, they were in a good mood. So you got to track them down, but if you can, it sounds like they're in a good mood. Uh, Sounds like crappie minnows and maybe rosy reds have been working maybe a little bit better than live bait, but throw everything at them, they'll bite it. Otherwise, sounds like Lake Farm's been kind of quiet up here. There have been a lot of shacks down here on the south end in South Bay. I don't know what's going on down there. I haven't heard anything other than some rumors of like a good gill bite. Some crappies along Bible Camp and Babcock, and some walleyes out from there a little in that area too. Let's see, Keeganza, same deal down there. Folks running ATVs all over. I haven't heard anything about basin perch other than the same thing on Wabisa. If you can find perch, they're usually in a pretty good mood. So, but they are hard to find. I heard about some bluegills down on like the south end of here, and a couple walleyes off the state park. So that's worth a look there. Otherwise, elsewhere around the chain or around the area, Koshkonong has good ice, but there's always sketchy heaves and stuff. Down here, I heard there's still some open water down on the south end. Sounds like most of the action happens up here on the north end of the lake anyway for walleyes and crappies. And let's see, Beaver Dam, I heard that bite up there kind of died actually. I haven't heard much other than folks going up there and struggling. I heard that Devil's Lake, they're getting some trout out there. So finally, and it sounds like the ice is in pretty good shape. So if you want a little change of pace, catch some different fish, that's always a good time. Wisconsin River backwaters should be good to go as far as ice goes. And, good opportunities at some fish to get out of town and maybe get away from the crowds a little bit. Otherwise, Lake Wisconsin, heard about some good action in your shallow bays, Moon Valley, the grade over here. Haven't heard much for walleye action, like out in the channel or out in the the deeper water, or whatever. But I'm sure they're getting fish. I know there was a good fall bite for them. Otherwise, heading up the river, you got Castle Rock and Petenwell. Heard about a good crappie bite on Castle Rock and on Petenwell. A little more scattered on Petenwell, but a better walleye bite out there than on Castle Rock. Crystal Lake, by Lodi down here. Heard there's a great yellow bass bite up there. So if you like yellow bass and you want to get out there and check it out, you can keep. I think it's unlimited possession, and yellow bass are supposed to be good to eat. So I don't know. It just sounds like it's constant action out there. The Mississippi River, they're getting on. At all the usual spots, DeSoto and Stoddard, and all your backwaters are in good shape. Heard about some of the backwaters down here by Prairie du Chien, Cassville, and stuff like that have been producing some nice crappies. And the Mississippi River, a lot of DeSoto, Stoddard, all that's good perch action out there, and up at Lake Onalaska too. I've heard about a great perch bite up there. Otherwise, over to Milwaukee, steelhead are in the rivers. Steelhead and browns are being caught in the harbors. I'm not sure. I'm sure Summerfest grounds is in good shape. I think they're out on the harbors over here. So otherwise, if you're fishing steelhead in the rivers, good luck. Some of the calmer, slower, deeper holes are likely capped over with ice, and that's probably not going to change with this cold weather coming. But if you can find some fishable water, flashy streamers, maybe an egg maybe like a buggy nymph with an egg pattern behind it is a good idea. But yeah, and then on the spinning gear side of things, spinners, crankbaits, jerk baits, and if you're casting spawn sacks, can be effective over there too. So otherwise, trout season is open. It's catch and release only, and only artificial lures can be used. It's a great time of year to get out. Although, today might be the only day you'd really want to try it, because it's going to get pretty miserable cold and windy tomorrow, and then real cold into next week. But maybe by next weekend you can get out and enjoy some fishing. Do be careful with trout when you get in this bitter cold. It can damage their gills and stuff. You leave them out of water too long if you do venture out in the cold temps. Happy Fly Day. I'm just going to talk about the same stuff because it's winter time and not much changes right now. Until things warm up, we might get some little dries I'll be talking about here soon. But tiny little midge larvae are great to run behind a pink squirrel, which is really, in my opinion, the only fly you need for winter. But you can run one of these little midge nymphs behind it, or woolly buggers. Slow and low is the name of the game this time of year as far as trout go. Deep pools. Run it through there real slow. Same thing on the spinning gear side of things. Slow moving baits. Slow your presentation down, and that's your best chance to get fish. This report has gone pretty long, so I appreciate you hanging in there. I do, feel free to call the shop at 241-4225 if you want me to expand on anything I've talked about here. Otherwise, do be careful out there. Post your comments and catches below. Let me know what you're seeing out there for ice conditions, and be safe, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in.